a lot, but here. You're very welcome to the studio this evening. I'm going to be going a walkthrough on, well, I mean, I probably have hundreds of paintings, so we're not going to get through a huge amount tonight. But what I do want to say is that as we go through this, first of all, it's really, really good that you came. Thank you for coming along. It's good to have you here. The studio's nice and warm, but it's raining and it's miserably horrible weather out there. So it's lovely, lovely doing this tonight. So please, please ask questions. The strength of Alive, from what I can see and what I know that Toby and I have learned, is that the strength of Alive is in the communication from you guys out there. So this is going to be like a walk down memory lane. The strength of Alive, from what I can see and what I know that Toby and I have learned, is that the strength of Alive, what is happening with the sound here? The communication from you guys out there. So this is going to be like a walk down memory lane. The strength of Alive. Is it going to settle itself down? Not sure what's happening with the sound of that being. Can I turn this down here? Hopefully, can you still hear me? Can you all still hear me okay? I've turned it down on my phone because there was like a reverberation going on there. So can you all, would somebody just message in there? Let me know if you can still hear me. Hopefully you can. Tremendous. Thank you, Annie, for that. Okay, great. So what I wanted to say was the strength of the live is based on your interaction with me. So I'm going to go through these paintings that I've done. Some of them are 4 or 5 years old. Some, the majority of them are watercolor and ink. I will probably bring down some that are multimedia, maybe some prints, maybe some lino prints, maybe some oils and things like that. Thanks, JF. Thank you for that. But do ask questions. Okay, so I'm going to maneuver the camera so that you've got a plan view, and I'm going to start going through these images. So bear with me 1 second. You're about to see my hand and then see my roof. Okay, great. Now, hopefully what you're all going to see, oh, here it's saying my orientation is locked. What's happening there? Rotate device back. Now, will it let me? What's it doing? So let's see if I can alter. Let me see if I can alter the perspective here on this. See if that'll make it that little bit better. Okay, so I'll need to bring this down a little bit so that you're not all staring. You're not all going to be staring at my lead. Sorry about this. Okay. Now, good. So let me move this up a little bit. Okay. Now, I know that's not the most attractive view, but we're going to have to work with it. So what we've got to start off with, this is a little small painting. I want to take each of them out of their cellophane. So what I tend to do is I keep the watercolors in cellophane to keep them in a good condition, and I normally would put them back then some 1500 micron picture or cardboard like packing board. And it means then that it's obviously going to keep it nice and straight, and you know, obviously they crinkle and all that kind of stuff. But so what we've got here is a view of Stranmillis. This was drawn as part of the watercolor class that I take on a Monday evening in Stranmillis University, which is absolutely tremendous to be a part of. These were done with Dealer Rowney, a small set that I inherited. And I think that there was, as far as I know, Faber-Castell Pitt pen. You can see the evidence of the flat brush, just the blue, and my beloved Payne's Grey. But really very simple, and just a section of the building. So unless there's comments, I'm just going to keep trucking on here, okay? I will slide them all back in again. Some of them I'm prepping tomorrow for one of the last markets that I'm planning on doing. So this process as well will help me unpack, because some of them need rebranded. Now, I was really pleased with this one. This one, like the previous, is on Bao Hong paper. You know, the paper that you can get from Temu. And let me lift it up a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. Again, it has the Faber-Castell pit pens. Just the little observations of the shadows is what really pleases me. Now, normally I don't enjoy the bleed that happens whenever, obviously, I didn't wait long enough. I'm forever telling people to wait because you need to have it to dry to be able to get it to work, or to be able to layer up. So this one really pleased me because I think it's simple and it's effective, and it really gets the job done. And then you've got the little Belfast stampers, which really is part of my style. So that's another one from the centre of Belfast. I drew that one whenever I was sitting in Starbucks. Now this is an older one. This actually was, well, it's not that old, but it was one of the first videos that I did whenever I was just starting YouTube. It's a little bit wonky for my liking, but yeah, it's okay. I'm quite pleased with this area. So hopefully one of the things that you're going to hear is that, you know, you're not pleased with every aspect of every video that you ever do, but what happens is that you do actually find some parts that you really like. And I mean, there you go. Annie said you really like this one. It's not one of my favorites, but there's certainly aspects of it that I like and I really enjoy the stampers. That is again on the Balhung paper. Okay, now these, I'm going to put these two down together. So these are from Strandhill in County Sligo, and what I really enjoy about them is the memories that they evoke, and I think that's one of the most powerful things about any sort of art, is that it takes you back to moments. So I was sitting on the shore of this gorgeous part of one of the lochs in Strandhill, or one of the lakes, I think it was a loch actually, and it was my first outside YouTube video, and I just really it just evokes really good memories. The first one I think was this one, and it was never recorded because I forgot to hit record on the button. He slaps his head and ricks his face, and then this was the one that I did when it was live. So again, it's on that Balhung paper. Okay, so thank you, Penny, for saying a comment about the great detail. JF, you say great. Have any of these been printed as postcards, for example? No, some of the watercolours I have had printed as runs of limited edition prints, and I've had some successes in selling them and some not so much. Okay, this one was just a coffee shop painting, a little continuous line. I was channeling my inner Toby. What did you say there, Annie? Annie said, love this one. JF, that's a good idea. And Annie, you said of Belfast. Okay. So yes, the Belfast one, the one back there with this one here, that's the one you were mentioning, Annie, wasn't it? It's the perspective too, isn't it? Okay, so this one is a lot freer and looser than I would normally do. If you Google Belfast, you will be able to find the Harland and Wolff cranes, and that's just a little shot of that as seen from a little coffee shop in Abbey Centre, which is a shopping mall which is close to me. So just a very simple one. It was one actually that my wife enjoyed, and she's not a fan of everything, so that was rather nice. Okay, next one. This is from the Tropical House in Belfast. I did another video there, and what tends to happen, I know I've talked before about the expectations of paintings, but what tends to happen for me is the painting begins to inform you as to when it's done. So I had initially just started to add this sort of rich green colour, and then I left it as negative space and thought, well, I think we're done. JF says, these two are really lovely. I like the fact that there's a lot of white left on the left of those, but not framed in a precise way. Yes, thank you for that. So that's the Tropical House. These are all on that Balhung paper, the cotton paper, which is just really lovely to use. Okay, so here's the next one. This is a coffee shop one, and the little drips were accidental because I needed to go. It was time to get the car moved away because the parking meter was about to charge me a fortune. I could have added a little bit more detail. You can see that there's only one layer here, but actually, you know, it's quite nice. It's a little sketch. It's light. It captures this is Grand Central, one of the new hotels, one of the Hilton Group in Belfast, and really quite pleased with that. Just enjoyed the paper, and they're the Faber-Castell pit pens again. I think it was also that little Diller Rowney set. If I'm going too quick, you can stop me. You're going to hear me open some of these because part of this process is meaning that I'm getting to rebrand them. I had rebranded to Colin Woodward Artist at one point and then decided that that was a very bad idea and I wanted to return back to Woodward's watercolours. So this exercise of going through them is really very helpful in removing them from their old packaging and beginning that process. Okay, now this is on this really nice kind of letterbox sort of post size of paper. This is recycled 300 GSM cold pressed paper by Seawhite of Brighton, one of my beloved papers. Just want to move that light down there. And it's just a really nice paper. This is the Daniel Smith watercolor, and it is of York Minster, done in continuous line, and I just thought it was really nice and simple. This is on the 1500 micron grey backing board, which keeps everything nice and straight. Okay, Penny says, what's the paper you're using? Is it your usual Seawhite? On these ones, Penny, it's the Balhung, the cotton paper. This is the Seawhite of Brighton, and this is their, now this is slightly less weight of the 300 GSM because it's the, sorry, angling the camera there when I didn't need to. Let me just adjust that again. It's a slightly less weight because it's recycled, and there you go. So that's the continuous line of that one. Okay, JF asks, do you use water brush in coffee shops or rinsing your brush in your beverage? I normally go up and ask them for an espresso cup of water, and they're more than happy to oblige, and also they really enjoy, I think, somebody being in the space and painting. So I've never had anybody say, no, you should have brought your own water. I mean, I like the water brushes. I've recently got some flat edge water brushes, which I'm very pleased with. So I would maybe use them sometimes as well. So this is obviously on that paper again. And this is done with the Lamy. I actually have it beside me. So this is done with the Lamy, the Safari with the converter with carbon ink in it. This was done at our sketch club, which Artie Ingrid, she's on Instagram as Artie Ingrid. It was on, it's on a Friday, and we were painting in Antrim Castle Gardens. I'll bring it up just a little closer so you can see just a little bit of the detail. I can normally spot when something has been done on on plein air because it just has a different feel to it, really. So there you go. Okay, next. Now this is quite a famous place in Northern Ireland called White Park Bay. It is an absolutely beautiful part of the north coast of Ireland, and you will see. I'm actually going to lift down a couple of the acrylics that I've done at White Park Bay as well, because this is the scene that is the most famous of this little derelict white cottage or little whatever structure it is. That again, it's on that the 300 recycled paper, and I mean I'm pleased with this one. I actually did this one as part of a private tuition session, and I was just really pleased with it, particularly with the detail of the light little mix of the Payne's grey, probably with a little bit of umber added into it, the simplicity of the different tones in the green, and then the sky, and you can tell that that's just that kind of a tealy kind of a sea colour that you get. I'll bring this one up a little bit closer as well. So there you go. Now let me show you these two. I can find them. Okay, so this is another one of. Now you can see that this was the different branding, but this is on MDF. This is of White Park Bay, and it's in acrylic, and just on a nice sort of thin board as well, which is really, really enjoyable to paint on. I really enjoy using those different medias at different times. So I want to see if I can find the other one, which might be up here. Yes, here we go. There we go. There's another one of White Park Bay, and it's done on, you can see the different branding compared to the Woodward's watercolours and why I'm changing that. So it's on MDF board as well. So that gives you a little bit of an insight into my style whenever I'm painting in acrylic. Okay, so Philip Down says, like the Antrim Castle, great effect. Thanks for that. Okay, this next one is another continuous line. Probably one of the continuous lines that I'm most pleased with. Both of my grandfathers were English, and one of them was from Worcester, and in particular the Malvern area. So Malvern is absolutely gorgeous, and I had an aunt and an uncle that walked the Malvern Hills an awful lot, and I went to visit them one time, so it does hold a special place for me. One of the things I really enjoy about this is I am pretty sure, in fact I would put money on it if I remember right, that I did not use a flat edge brush for this, simply because of the way that the marks are, just the way they're sort of a little bit more blobby. What brings me great joy is these mountains in the distance, and the way that colour is. It just really pleased with that. So I'm just going to lay that one down there for a wee second. Again on that Sea White of Brighton paper. And just really, I think it works well because the scene is effectively elongated. Then it just, I think, comes out pretty well. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Do stop me if there are others that you want to get a bit of a longer look at. I feel like I'm opening my Christmas presents, opening all these up again. So any questions so far that haven't been answered? One of the things you probably begin to see is the colours that I predominantly use because of where I live. This is Crawfordsburn. Not sure if anybody here's ever been to Crawfordsburn before. Just a beautiful forest park. This is another one from Sketch Club, one of the first sketch clubs that we had. And it was just lovely painting outside. We were actually undercover, but again, I find that plein air paintings have a slightly almost erratic kind of feel to them. They're a little bit more spontaneous, whereas something that's done in the studio tends to seem to be more considered. So again, just a plethora, what a great word plethora is, but a plethora of greens. Okay, so Philip says, Colin, do you coat the MDF with anything like PVA first? No, I just jump straight into it. Normally I'll do, I'll maybe white it out, get a couple of coats of white acrylic on it, but not always. And in fact, as you ask that, this one's a good example. So let's leave that one behind. Okay, and this is one, it's in that old style. It's no longer 60 quid, but this is just done straight onto the MDF. Do you know what? In fact, I'll actually take it out of the packaging because it's the old branding anyway. And there you are. I was really, really pleased with this one. You can tell that, I'm a watercolorist at heart. So whenever I am using acrylic, I do tend to use it thinner. So you can see this layering up on the washes. And this was the view from a little house that we stayed in with my wife's family when we were in Donegal. And it was a lovely time together. And just for me, all of these paintings end up being doorways back to memories, and I think that that's largely why we are commissioned to paint and largely why we paint. It's this experiment. I know I said in the video about sketchbooks that sketchbooks are both a place for experimentation and for for journaling, to remember, a place for school and to remember. And this just takes me straight back. Whenever I'm looking at these paintings, I remember, I don't know whether it's the same for you, but I remember instantly where I was and what I was doing normally. It's quite mad. So yes, really pleased with that one. I really am, and it just worked so well going straight onto that MDF, and you can see it's MDF block. I called it the Bend in the Road in Rathmullen, County Donegal, Ireland, and that was done last February. So over a year old. Time flies, doesn't it? There you go. Okay, while we're on that one, let's take a look at this one. Now, you'll not be able to take this whole one in. You maybe seen this one before. I think I put it on the YouTube community. I don't know if I wrote on it when it was actually completed. This one's done on hardboard. You can see that the hardboard, it was an offcut, and if you can see you probably can't see it, but there's a slight bend on it, and I was just so pleased with that. This has a coat of varnish on it, And also I had used oil pastel on top of the acrylic. You can see I used the flat edge brush. You can see quite obviously the presence of the flat edge brush, just if you look a little bit closer. Is there a preference, Philip's asking, of MDF on size? No, I really enjoy it whenever I can just paint on an offcut. I just really like that. I think that's just a lovely thing to do. Annie, thanks AF and Penny for your comments on the last one. Annie, you said your pictures capture the feeling of these places. At least I imagine so. I haven't visited them. Thank you, Annie. I've heard that before, and it really encourages me when people say that. So thank you. So this is Bloody Bridge in the Mourns. Did it one Saturday morning. It was probably in the throes of lockdown, but it was. I remember what was key about it was I danced some oil pastel over those lines. Just really enjoyed doing that. So there you go. Okay, back to watercolors. How are we going? Is it still interesting? So, let's see. This next one is another one on the recycled, that thin paper. Now, this one is a good story. The King Charles was anointed and ordained, or whatever it is that you call it. And we were sitting around watching it on TV in the kitchen all together, and I decided that I would do Draw Westminster Abbey where he was being coronated, remembered it. It was about his coronation. And I was really pleased with this one. I really, sorry about the shadows on this, folks, but I really enjoyed the detail of it. So that one brings me joy when I see that. It just has a nice detail to it. I'm going to try and get rid of this so we can get a little bit more line of the my lead coming from my phone there. So there you are. Don't know why I went quieter with that one. Just really pleased with it. Nice memory. Okay, next is a random little farm in Banbridge. If you want to see this one being painted, then you just need to go onto Instagram, go to Woodward's Watercolors, and if you look through the videos there, the live videos, you will see it being painted. That was done on a Friday. We were getting our kitchen, our bathroom redone, and I remember just doing that. And at one point, one of the workmen came in. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what the Ella. I'm not sure what all the wee symbols are, but there you go. So this is a farm in Banbridge. Probably, I mean, I definitely used some different brushes. I don't know that there was a flat edge inside actually in this one, because just of the different painting marks. The bit that I'm most pleased with is the shadow under the trees, and then that shadow along that little path. So there you go. That's Banbridge. And next. Okay, now this is another one from that time in Rathmullen. And whereas the other one of Rathmullen on the MDF was painted when we came home, this one was painted in the kitchen there. So this is Rathmullen. We had our own little private beach, and that was just a wonderful experience. I really was pleased with the pastel tones in this, with the detail overlaying of using the flat edge brush to capture this that kind of dry grass that you get on the side of beaches, the almost volcanic color of the rocks, and then the sea. And I really enjoy images that are simple. So this one just brings me pleasure when I look at it. It seems very, very peaceful, and I'm grateful for that. Annie's asked, do you prefer architecture or scenery? Your buildings seem very detailed and precise. Your landscapes much more loose. Is that the right word? Yeah, I mean, that's a good description. I really enjoy both. I enjoy the act and the process of painting loose watercolors, and there's so much of a flow to it, and yet I also really enjoy capturing a building. I do have to work harder to not get so stressed when I'm doing a building, but I'm just really pleased with this one of Rathmullen. Again, that's County Donegal. Now this one doesn't need unpacked because it's got the correct packaging, so we're going to leave it in there. And so that's the correct branding that I have, and a nice little QR code. I got myself one of those little printers, which is great. This is Oxford Island. This one was painted there. It was part of the sketch club again. About 3 or 4 of us were there on a Friday. We have the sketch club normally once a month on a Friday. So if you're in Northern Ireland and you fancy joining us, then just let us know. And this was painted there. I was quite pleased with that. I remember this little structure was really too big in the painting, but I think I get away with it. I think it's all right, and I'm pleased with the little flex. I'm going to take a swig of coffee, so do ping in your questions and I'll read them when I'm having a sip here. Okay, so that's Oxford Island. Now, Annie said, could you like both, but don't get in a box. Yeah, for sure. You don't want to get in a box in regard to art. Okay, so these are more recent. You may recognize this one. This is the most recent sketch club, the chicken that I really enjoyed painting. You can see the evidence of the flat edge brush turned on its side. Let me grab one to give you the example. So obviously the brush was more vertical this way to make that work, and then some lines and things you can just see where that is. But I thought it captured the chicken. The things that we end up drawing, and then using the simple lines to indicate the chicken coop and other chickens, but really focusing on this one. It's just a nice simple thing to do. Okay, let me see if I can grab. While we're on that one, let's just take a quick look at this one. This one, I just had this. I tend to love a demo of this. You'd love a demo of the chicken. I don't know whether I could bring myself to draw another chicken pie. So this one was really recent as well. Sometimes I just get a real, I love the word unction, a real urge to paint something. Fat birds, whether it's like a thrush or a robin or this is where the Twitchers can tell me about all sorts of different birds. And I just wanted to draw it, and I really enjoyed. I got my new Sailor Food Demanding pen, which was this one. And the one with the quirky wee nib, and I just wanted to take it out for a spin. So started drawing. I was so pleased with the line work on, and then just started with this green and thought I'm done. And just so pleased that it came out as it did. Just brings me a lot of joy to look at, to be honest. So there you are, the season of singing. Sometimes I regularly will call the painting wherever it is, but on this occasion it seemed appropriate to call it the season of singing. There you go. Okay, next. Now, this is the painting from being with Toby in, what do you call it, where we were in Bath, obviously. I'm just going to flip these other two lights off because the line was really annoying me, so hopefully that'll be much better for everybody. You get to enjoy. Let me see, will that work? How's that? Is that okay? Just the line of the cable was a little bit irritating. So whenever we were on the weekend, Toby and I demoed each other, or taught each other's style. So look at that cauliflower, look at the ridiculous colours. It was wet on wet. It was I love a continuous line now. Love continuous line. Very much a Toby. And there you go. So that's another one. Okay, now next, this is a little one I was really pleased with. This is called Ard's Maltings, and it used to be a distiller's. I actually did this. I was taking my son, the reason to take my son to the hospital one night, and while we were waiting, because we all know the NHS in Northern Ireland is not in a great place, so while I was waiting I did a little watercolour, and it was of Ard's Maltings. Goodness, it is mad to me as I go through these how I am instantly back to those situations, and I remember where I was. Are the colours all still okay? Can you all see them all right? With that light, is that still working for you? Let me know. If not, I'll ping the bigger light back on again, and it just was annoying me about that cable. Okay, thank you, Emil, for your comment on that. JF, oh yes, the things we end up drawing. I did a drawing of my dominant hand, wearing a supportive tutor. Using my non-dominant hand this morning. My goodness. The Bath workshop looked fantastic fun. Yes, it was. It absolutely was. And we're fully booked now for the Cotswolds in September, to a place called Lower Slaughter, which I have researched and is actually not about animals being killed. It's about an old English word slaughter, meaning muddy. So there you go. Okay, so this was done one Saturday night. Just found a little picture of Albania and was drawn it in colouring pencil, and there you go. Okay, this one was done when we were last in Paris. We were staying north. Well, we were actually staying about 10 minutes away from Disney, which was the whole point. And while we were there, I had taken my watercolours with me. And this is Les Invalides, Paris, France. And just in the ink black. And I think I maybe did go over it a little bit with some pen. Les Invalides. Okay. Thank you everybody for your feedback on the colours. Fill it down yesterday. We went and stayed in one of those like glamping pods, and I did this one. Can't remember what. I don't think I did it there. No, you maybe did. Can't remember. Anyway, loved the colours in it. I was done with the ink tints watercolor pencils, and I think it just has a little bit of life about it. It was done in 2022. There you go. Great, glad it's better with the light off. Philip and JF Lower Slaughter used to live not far away. Lovely area, great. I'm very excited to be there. Okay, so the place that we were at, I've forgotten the name of the place in France. So this is a little painting that I did one of the nights that I was there. This time we're hoping to go on holiday in the next few weeks or so. And I don't know whether I could maybe survive without taking any watercolours, but I also think it may be helpful to take a little break for a bit. So this is a place called Montervin in Paris, and just the rooftops, the colours, the sky, and this is done on different paper again. This was bought, I think, tiger paper. So there you are. Thank you, Emil, for your feedback on the ink tints, and Penny, thanks as well. Okay, now this is on this little square format of the same recycled 300 GSM watercolor paper by Seawhite of Brighton. I cannot recommend Seawhite of Brighton enough. I just really like them as a company. They have a part of their website called artsaver.com, and it's ART. I'm not sponsored by them, just I'm sharing it with you because you'll save yourself a fortune if you like the paper. So ARTE SAVER, artsaver.com, and you can buy their paper much more reasonably than you would get it in the likes of Hobbycraft. Bear with me just one little second. Okay, so this is done on this square format, and it's of Castle Espy. They recently had a Quentin Blake exhibition there, which I sadly missed, but I was just pleased with this. I'm from Newtownards, where you can see Scrabble Tower at any given point. This was done there. It was done in a coffee shop. I like it. Has a nice, gentle little touch. I think as well when you're painting outside doing plein air, you're less like you don't take as much time. I don't know whether that's because you're embarrassed and you just want to get it done, but there you go. Okay. Yeah, Emil, I enjoy the blocks too. They're a heck of a lot of fun. Okay, this next little one was done. I think it was done actually before. Oh no, I remember being out here in the studio. I don't think I had this studio for long, but I was out here painting this one. Again, it's on the square block. Excuse the fizzling noise. This is of White Rocks. I was really pleased with that. I think the layering is successful in it. It looks nicely placed where the stampers are. I just think it kind of captures that moment quite well. So let me lift it up a little bit closer and you can see a little bit more of the detail. Time for another drink of the coffee. This talking business makes you awful thirsty. Welcome to anyone who's just joined us. Please, please, please keep the questions coming. Now, last year we went to the Isle of Man, which is a gorgeous little island in between Ireland and Scotland, or the mainland Britain. And this is Douglas. This is the capital city there. I was pleased with the perspective. Nice and simple, nice light touch. May well have done it while I was there. I think I actually did do it while I was there, if I can tell. I think that's the Daler Rowney paints. Not a massive fan of the Daler Rowney paints, but it is in my little travel kit. So that's what I had, and pleased with the perspective. I think it's quite nice. Not a bad painting. On we go. Okay, Emil, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. He said, I like that you leave a lot of white in the paper. Yeah, thank you. Now whenever I see people, I've seen a lot of people certainly who definitely feel that they must paint to the edge, and I find it very liberating to not paint to the edge. I just really like using the space. So this one is Montauban again in Paris, and I sat in the coffee shop having a beautiful cafe and I think a croissant, and just enjoying the passers-by trying to talk to me and me trying to talk to them in French. Very architectural, and just the suggestion of this little bit of a tree here. So there you go. Okay, now this one doesn't need to be taken out, which is great. This was an example that I did at one of the watercolor classes. This is of the Galgorm River, Clare, and I love the Galgorm Resort. We go there if we can a couple of times a year and just enjoy being there. So this is a view from the river. I took this while I was probably in a hot tub, the picture, and I'm really pleased with how loose it is. I'm pleased that the lines are part of it, but the paint almost seems like it's moving. So just this is the river. The river's brown actually, and just the way it moves, and just for me, I'm right there. I can practically hear it. I don't know whether you can, but I'm just pleased with this one. From my point of view, it's pretty successful. Okay, next one. This was just an experiment one night. Just wanted to give it a go. Very, very simple. And continuous line again. Finding that whenever I draw on continuous line, I was discussing this with someone recently, how continuous line seems to help me with proportions. So just enjoyed doing it. Just a very simple little still life of honesty. Now, the other thing about this is it's not that random, because I grew up at home. We had dried honesty, and I remember as a kid, it's this paper thin like substance, natural substance in between, that's part of the plant that holds in, or part of the flower that holds in the seed. So it's actually a seed pod. So just reminds me of being at home with mum and dad. There you go. Now here's another one of White Park Bay. This time on A4. As happens, you end up drawing the same places many times. So that's White Park Bay again, slightly different this time. Okay, great. Got another question. Emil asks, which blue do you use in these latest paintings? Yeah, cerulean. This one is Payne's Grey mixed with ultramarine. I'd be pretty confident. This is normally when I'm doing a sky, it's Daniel Smith's set, so it'll be cerulean blue mixed in with a little bit of ultramarine for a sky. And Annie says, my favourites are the buildings with a crazy splash of greenery and sky. Oh, you love that vase. And there you go. So I should do a shameless marketing ploy at this point, which is all of these are on Etsy. If you're interested, you can go and look at them. If you're not, that's totally fine. I don't like this one, and I deliberately wanted to show you one that I don't like. The colours are too vivid. I don't like I do like the undermarks of the watercolour pencil, but in this one, I just don't. So Delamont, it's a place in County Down, Northern Ireland. Moving swiftly on. This one, again, it's all right. I think it's okay. This is painted when I was fishing for one of the first times I went carp fishing in a lake. I think it's called Pole Hill Lake in Newton Ards, or the Donut Lake as it's affectionately called. And just those colours, I'm just right there painted by the lake, and it was very peaceful. That's on that tiger paper. I think it's 300 GSM, and again it would have been with the Daler Rowney, and you can see evidence of some continuous line. Okay, now this one, don't love this one again, but it's okay. Colours are too vibrant for me, not very realistic. And this is Lockshore, which is quite close by. You can see that I was using probably a little bit of flat edge brush and then some more round brush along there. So we'll move on from that one too. Next, this is Narble or Narble? Narble maybe Bay, which is a very favourite place on the Isle of Man to go and spot whales. I actually, even though these colours aren't realistic, they're more muted. I like them. They're quite strong and just gives you that kind of UK grey sky weather vibes. So there you go. Bring that light in a little bit more. Next up, this is Carrickfergus. This is done in Inktense. It's very similar to that one done of Les Invalides. And I had actually worked it and thought it was okay, and then I added in some Inktense and was pleased with the way that the water mixed with the pencil. So very simple one there. Now this one is from a very recent workshop that I was doing in Portaferry, and I was demonstrating continuous line and just doing, you know, I wanted to give the idea of layering and how it took time, and that it wasn't bling ticks, you know, it does just all happens instantly. Do I like it? Jury's out. But I like the moment that it created, if that makes sense. And I added in a brighter colour because a lady said to me, it's not very vibrant yet. And I said, and it likely won't be unless unless I want to do that. I actually am not, I don't want things to be vibrant all the time, you know. So there you go. Okay, now this is another one of Donegal. This is Downing's. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. The drawing in this one is a lot tighter, a lot more accurate, and I'm really pleased with that. I like that the window's slightly open here. I like the lines of the roof, moving the flat edge brush, so it's giving you that nice straight horizontal line, a little bit of the layering up to give you the idea of the rocks on the beach. I just think it's quite a successful painting. That's on the See What I've Brightened 350 GSM. Pen work you can see, and then I think it was Winsor & Newton watercolor on top of that. Yeah, the red door, and that the same color the red door is on the windows, but you don't get it as doesn't hit you as much, you know. Okay, now this one was from the Still Life week at watercolor class. Downing's picture, you like that one, Annie? This is, I didn't really like it. It's okay. Don't really love a Still Life. Enough said, really. Quite pleased with the bananas, and the green of banana can connect with that, and I definitely know that that's a mango, you know, with one sitting at home ready to go. It's alright. It wouldn't be something that I would be rushing to do again. But let me just lift it up that little bit closer so you can see. Okay, next up, this one is from a video that I did, a YouTube video that I did, which you can watch. I am really pleased with this one. There's lots of inaccuracies, but actually that's, you know, I even wonder why am I saying that, because the overall feel of it captures the place, and I was really delighted with it. So that's actually a nice memory doing that one as well. I was pleased with that video, and just a little splash of colour indicating the life within, you know. So that is Botanic, it's the Palm House and Botanic Gardens in Belfast. I need another drink. Okay, keep your questions coming. Okay, this one is again from that workshop in Portaferry. It's a little pub called Fiddler's Green, and it's, yeah, I mean, I'm pleased enough with it. It certainly gives layering. I like the strength of the green. I don't overly think that this tree is that successful. I think it needed more underpinned by some pen work to add to that, but I do think this is quite successful, and it certainly seems like there's something going on behind here. So let me lift that up, give you a quick little glance across, and on we go. So you like that one, Annie, too, that one in the building? Oh yeah, so let's slow it down a wee bit for you. Hopefully you can still see. It's getting darker here, the rain is threatening falling again. Okay, so this is the next one. This one is also from a workshop. That's been one of the wonderful things this year. The sales of my artwork in terms of on Etsy has slowed down. I think that's something that's just gone on across the board, but I'm very grateful to have had opportunities to be able to teach watercolour. We lived in Ballynahinch, which is in County Down, close to Newcastle and the beautiful Mourne Mountains. But I know this place really well. Like, I remember going to the little bakery down here, and the scones if you're American, being 34p. They're probably not more expensive now. And the shop, the decorating shop, and what used to be the Framers that was owned by our friends, and Extravision was there. All these memories, and that's what these watercolors do for me, is take me back. So I'm leading another workshop there in November time, so if you're local, then if you want to attend, you can do that. So that's of Ballynahinch. Okay, this next one is of the lighthouse at the very tip of the north of the island of the Isle of Man, and it was done on that. I think it was done on the tiger paper. How are we doing, by the way? Is this still interesting? Do let me know if you're thinking that it's coming to a conclusion, because I don't want to go on to the point that we're all going to lose the will to live. Keep the questions coming. So this is Point of Air. I was really, really pleased with this one. Penny, I agree. Painting, sketching makes memories. It sure does, Penny. So just really pleased with this. I was pleased with the structure of the lighthouse. Really pleased with the sky. That was done with the Daler. Oh, well, was it maybe Daler? I can't remember. But I just am there. I found we went and visited that lighthouse and it was a really grey day. And this has a little bit more life to it, but it's just pleased with it. Pleased with the sky, especially how it leads up and nearly moves you to this vertical and the vertical of the lighthouse, and just it all. I just was pleased with it. I think it works well together. Annie said, "You said sketches equal memories, much better than photos." Yeah, you could be right. So this is a very little one. This one is done on A6. See what I brought in postcard. You see on the back here. Let me show you the back first, actually. So this is the postcard paper that they have. And this is the moat in Donegal. Just very simply done. Lovely working on that size. I think it was done around Christmas time last year. I just was really pleased with how simple it is, and the little splash of the red. You can hear the rain starting. The little splash of the red there above the flag. So I was pleased with that. Okay, Dan asked, how do you know when to stop painting? I think it becomes quite I was going to say extinctive. It becomes quite instinctive, and I think that the more that I have stopped when I think that I should have stopped, then I begin to recognize that point. So with that one, I'm glad that I didn't keep going on. I mean, you could add a third layer, where you're given a little bit more depth, but I was just happy with it as it was. Penny asked, what colour medium do you prefer, paints or pencils? Paints, really, but I really enjoy the pencils. I think they just, after doing that video, they just kind of explode. Dan, does anyone know? Yeah, I do think, Annie, that the more you do it, the more you get to recognise it, and the more that you have the courage to stop, because there's this point where you know to stop, and then your experience or your education or whatever you feel you should be doing tries to force you on, but the more that you do stop, then I think you have the courage to do it. Philip says, Colin, enjoyable chat and introduction of your work, not on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Philip. Penny, Annie, I agree about painting over photos. Okay, so this is St George's Market. Don't often do people. These were the fishmongers. So it was just done very quickly. One of the first sketch clubs that we had, and just an enjoyable little memory. Dan, you said overpaint, letting all the colours have a chance to speak. Yeah, and then it gets just... then there's normally a fight, because people end up speaking all over each other, don't they? I'm a simple soul. I think I am. I certainly enjoy artwork being simple, but I also enjoy the simple process of letting it dry and layering. Jeepers, I have... Actually, I don't know why I was opening that one, because it has the correct branding on it. So let me see that up again. This is of Dramara. I was doing single colour. Just quite simple, quite loose, quite enjoyable. Next one, you maybe would recognise this one from the YouTube video. See if we can get this little label off first. It doesn't want to come off. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. So this one is of the Swan and Vestas matches. I don't know how many of you saw that video. The video wasn't overly popular. I really enjoyed using the big blobs of Indian ink. Yeah, and then the Indian ink is so shiny. You can't really see it because the cellophane around it's shiny. But I love those. That's this idea of everyday objects that we. I remember. I love the smell of those matches whenever you strike them, and the fact that they weren't safety matches and you could strike them off a wall and they would light. So just those everyday objects. Annie, you say I usually stop before it's ready, but I do like unfinished looking pictures. I know. And then what is an unfinished looking picture? And then JF says, Colin, a couple of personal questions. Does your partner paint? Is it difficult to find the balance of art and family during your trips away? So my wife doesn't paint, but is incredibly supportive and always knew about me that was passionate about making art. Definitely, like all things, needs to be kept in balance. Can it be difficult to strike the balance? Well, I work 4 days a week, so the Fridays are focused on painting, and the trips away. I mean, we're hoping to a few trips a year. Toby and I together, we're really enjoying that working in partnership. This is Gleno Waterfall. When I first did it, I wasn't that keen on it, but actually, in seeing it in the flesh, this is different paper. This is Hobbycraft 300 GSM paper, but the colors and that little touch of blue there, if you can see it, it's just a pretty random, almost boring normal house, but just it's nicely framed into those trees. So I was pleased with that. Gleno Waterfall is a beautiful place. I also, sorry, the other thing I wanted to say was what I loved was it's not of the waterfall, it's of the area of Gleno, so, and if you turn around away from the waterfall, this is what you see, so that was quite interesting to me. So, in answer to your question, so JF, what's your first name? But I think it for me it's just about continuing to communicate, and whenever I'm away and then coming back, being intentional about coming back into the family and engaging with people and not just painting and getting lost in that all the time, because as cheesy as it is, our families are our most important work of art we'll ever do. So there you go. Joe, nice to meet you, Joe. I'm sure I've asked you that before. Penny, you said I know gardening gets away with my sketching and painting. Emil, time to put the kids to bed here in Sweden. Thank you for the inspiration you gave. You're very welcome, and thank you for commenting and for being here. This was a prompt by Toby years ago. It was 2020. I don't love it. It's a penniless porch. I'm not even sure where that is. Could be in Bath, actually, of all places. But there you go. Continuous line. Very simple. Here we go. This one, not sure what I think about this one. This is from 2020 as well. I'm going to do a few more. If we go until about 8:30, I think, and then we'll stop, because I'm very conscious that I don't want to keep going beyond the point of interest. So this is Krusenstein Castle. I'm not sure where that is. It's okay. I think at the time I thought it was better than I now think it is. But there you go. This one is of Milford, which is in Donegal as well. And this was done with watercolor pencil, and I don't like it. So you can tell me your thoughts. If it actually will come out. There you are. I just don't like the blue. I think it's, well, probably if you put 3D glasses on, you could see like a third dimension to it. There you go. Penny, you love seeing all the different places. Yeah, thank you. It's it's all the places that I've been, and then suggestions that people have made over the time, and also places where I would like to go. But it's more, it takes me back to the moments that I painted them. This is of Rathmullen, and I took a photograph of it and took it into iPad and added some colour. You can see that again on Instagram, the process of adding the colour. But it was just of the trees. And you can see with this one, hopefully, maybe you can't, the shine of the Indian ink. And it just, again, just reminds me of that being there on the side of the beach. This one is of the Mossley Way, which is very close to my home. Again, I don't love it. It's okay. It's, actually, I do quite like it. I like the lines underpinning this one with the ink tints. I also like that some of the ink tints hasn't been made soluble. And just the way that's going into the distance, the way the water is settling there. This is quite nice how that kind of cauliflower's going into. So it's a different, it's not the most, for me, it's not the part of the Mossley Way that I would completely identify with, or recognise, should I say, more than identify with. But there you are. Let me lift it up so you can have a little bit of a closer look. Now this one is not one that I like at all. The reason that I don't like it is because it's not my style now, but it was at the time where I was really trying to hone my style. It's a Fife in Scotland. It's just not the way I paint now, but you can see little bits of the way I paint in there. So there you go. I'm not getting rid of it because I think it is part of the stepping stones to of the style that I have. So there you are. Now this one was one from just before I think I started YouTube. I was really thinking about starting YouTube, and we were in the Botanic House, or the Palm House in Botanic Gardens in Belfast. This one doesn't want to come out. It was at Sketch Club. This one really doesn't want to come out. Excuse me, that one was a fight. Apologies about that. This is of the Palm House on the inside, and I mean, I think actually we don't need that section. I think it's a better painting without that section. I was trying to indicate the windows, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. So I mean, I think it's quite interesting. It's quite nice details of the plants that are in there, but I think it is let down by this little part of the, what do you call it? A little part of the greenhouse on the inside, but none was attempt to get it in. And you said you love the 5 picture. Isn't it interesting? You said there, great Dan, the magic pencil's brilliant. Annie Petralis, if I comment, I lose half the screen. That's why I go quiet. No problem. This one is of Lotherden Hall. Now we're coming towards the end, about another few minutes, and then we'll stop. But thank you so much to everybody who's come online, and to anybody who watches after the live as well. This is of Lotherton Hall, somewhere in England. It was a prompt. It was one of those draw this in your own style. I think it was John, what do you call him? He's on Instagram. He did some paintings for Yorkshire Tea. It's actually, in seeing it beyond the cellophane, I'm really quite pleased with it. There you go. Okay, this next one I really enjoy. This is of a lake. I think it was probably in the lake area of Northern Ireland in Fermanagh. A real mix of the watercolor and then some watercolor pencil, wet on wet with watercolor pencil. Interestingly, I was enjoying that. I just love the reflections on it and the ochres in it, and just all of those tones just works for me. Yeah, we're all celebrating for Dan with the magic pencils. Okay, now this one was done on a live with Toby of Cromer, and it was a really enjoyable live. You can go back onto his YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it. It was just great. It was before, I think we probably announced that we were doing that weekend in Bath, and we both had left negative space, and I was just really pleased. There's sometimes with certain paintings that you just think, yes, just really pleased with that. So I was really pleased with this one of Cromer. I'll lift it up so you can just have that little bit more of a look across. The colours are just really pleased with that. Penny, you've invested in magic pencils. I know I should be getting a cut of the money. So Joe, yes, thanks for coming about the reflections. Now this one, I did some lives with a guy called Charlie Flinders on Instagram. You should check out his artwork. I think it's CRM Flinders. His work's beautiful. We did this one together called Clifton Village, and it was slightly traumatic for me, but it's okay. Colours aren't great. It was fine. Like the negative space, like the wee bike. That's about the height of it. Okay, last couple of minutes. So this is of one of the Douglas trams in the Isle of Man. In fact, I'll do these last two, and then I'll say my goodbyes. So this is Douglas Tram, one of the very famous trams in the Isle of Man in Douglas, and I was just so pleased with it. That was done in the Premier Inn one of the nights. There wasn't much to do, and we were watching telly together, and I did this one and just was pleased with it. I actually made this one in prints, and in the museum in Peel you can buy one from there, or you can buy one directly from me on the Etsy, but I got this made into prints and was really pleased with it. So there you go, that's Douglas Trams. Don't do an awful lot of vehicles. But when I do quite enjoy them. This is the last one. This is the Parliament building in the Isle of Man, and it's Douglas again, and it's continuous line, and I was so pleased with those colours. I just thought it came out really well, really nice and vibrant, had life to it. It's Toby-esque, isn't it? Really pleased with the splashes. And there you go. Right, let me have to do a proper goodbye here. So let me flip the camera around. See as he drop you. Oh dear. This is the things about a live. Okay, so let me move this out of the way as well. I invested in a much more sturdy tripod for being able to watch. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you did find that quite interesting. Any questions that you have, whether you're watching this, whether it's live or not, do get in touch. I really enjoy the questions and comments, so do get in touch. And thank you for watching. I intend to do probably more of these as a bit of a walkthrough. It's a great opportunity to show off paintings that I've done in the past, and also to describe style and, you know, all that kind of thing. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, good night, whatever it is that you've got left of your day, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you sometime soon. So bye for now.